But the thing that sets John apart with his partner Susie is his devotion to the student. Whether it be his open door policy, his attending of almost every event on campus, doing everything he can to make sure that the student's experience here is a positive one. That's been his focus, and it's made a huge difference. It's a fabulous legacy to have done what P. Roush and Susie have done in terms of focusing on the student and making sure that the student's experience here is a positive and rewarding one.
Anyone who's ever wondered what the saying, "live generously," means when put into action need look no further than John and Susie Roush. They give so tirelessly of themselves, their time and their energy. There are dozens, if not hundreds of people in the campus community and in the greater Danville community who, at a time of illness or of grief, have had a knock at the door, and there was Susie Roush with a hot dish or a plate of cookies or whatever to let them know that she and John were thinking about them at this moment in time.
But I really focus on two things. One is on leadership. I think that both John and Susie have brought a culture of leadership to this campus. Not just simply in the classroom as a part of the curriculum, but in the daily lives of the students, the administrators, faculty, all of the persons who are associated with the institution. And when I say leadership, I don't mean transactional leadership. I mean transformational leadership. Their focus has been, from my observation, on trying to teach people how to help others when there's nothing in it for them.
A good example of how John and Susie are so committed to every detail on this campus, I'm scheduled to have lunch with John and then speak to his leadership class. And I was told just about an hour ago by John that Susie may not join us after all, though she was scheduled to, because she may have 100 trees arriving that she has to supervise the planting of. And that speaks to John and Susie's commitment to every single detail here and how important it is for them to finish strong as they are finishing out these last months of their tenure on Center's campus. They're not letting up a bit, and they're moving forward every single day with the same level of energy and passion and commitment they've had from the very beginning.
And the other thing that I focus on is culture. I think that they have done a tremendous job in their period here of supporting and encouraging a culture within which persons can succeed. And I have observed from the get-go, and it's interesting because, I had been gone about 20 years before they came to the campus. And yet I feel much closer to them than I did the person who was in the presidency when I was a student, and indeed anybody who came after. And I think the reason why is because they have such a welcoming and open personality. And I use that word in the singular because I see them very much joined at the hip in that regard. But they have very much encouraged and supported and bloomed that culture that allows people to succeed. I'm always mindful of John's mantra, and I'll probably get it wrong. Be your best, do your best, and no regrets. That's the way I was raised. That was all my dad ever asked of me. Did you do your best? Then we'll get them next time. And I feel like John and Susie promote that in their attitudes towards all of their constituencies, whether it's students or faculty or alums or friends or administrators. They promote that atmosphere within which people can succeed.
There is a London apartment that number of faculty have rented. And the apartment is on the second floor, and right outside the window is a pub. And none of us have had anything to do with the pub necessarily. They behave themselves. They go at 11 o'clock, they get quiet, but they eat outside. So John and Susie are there at dinner, and he looks out and sees the pub. And he opens the window and he starts talking to the pubbers. They invite him down, and so all of us go down, and for the first time, John and Susie, who are teetotalers, lead the center faculty to a London pub. And that, to me, symbolizes how both energetic and open they are to students and to faculty and to townspeople, to the board, to everybody.
At a period of time before I even went on the board at Center, I had a very dear friend whose child was a student at Center, and she called me one night in a complete panic, understandably, because she was fearful that her child was about to engage in self-harm. And I didn't have anybody else's phone number, but for some reason, I had John's phone number. And I called, and he answered the phone. And before I could even get very far into the reason why I was calling, he said, "We've got it, we're on it, Susie's on her way." So I was able to call my friend and give her great comfort as she was driving to Danville, that not only was her child okay, but he was in the best of all possible hands. Now, I don't know too many institutions where a person can pick up the phone and call the president of the institution, and first, have them answer the phone, and second, have them so far on top of the situation that they were already in the care of this child and providing for him and making sure that everything was okay. To be able to call my friend and tell her that her child was in the best of all possible hands and to know that the situation was being addressed meant the absolute world to me, and it's something I will never, ever forget.
I think John and Susie have nurtured the campus like they've nurtured their two boys. They know students, they know the campus. Susie particularly knows every flower bed, she knows sinking spring, she knows every tree. I've seen her pull up weeds when we're walking. And there has certainly never been a team, a president and a spouse, that have worked so hard for so long. Both have done that for almost 22 years, and I don't know where they get the energy.
I think John and Susie Roush will be remembered for lifting Center up to another level, enhancing its commitment to excellence, growing the campus in thoughtful and meaningful ways, leaving a powerful physical legacy here of the improvements on this campus, the construction, the renovations, the way this campus now presents itself as one of the finest physical campuses in the country. But beyond that, it's that sense of family and community that John and Susie created here on campus, that nurturing environment that goes so far in terms of creating student success, but also helping to attract and retain the best students. That we have such an incredibly warm and welcoming campus that is seen as one large family. That's where John and Susie will leave a powerful mark.
I will tell you that when we were in our quest for a new president to fill the shoes of Mike Adams, we engaged in a national search, and the first round of candidates did not produce the kind of quality that we were hoping for, and Rich Morrow called me and said, "I've got your man. He works for me here at the University of Richmond." So we brought John down for an interview, and somewhere between 30 and 45 seconds after he had started his interview, I knew I had just met the next president of Center College.